Hey everybody, we're about to start soon, so come grab a seat and we'll get going. All right, come grab a seat, we'll get started.
I don't know if that's LinkedIn logo. I don't know that. I don't know. We went to New York City for a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yes, I either have to drive up to New Jersey to New York City or like Monday but I don't know what's going on. Glass bottom. I'm not just
The entire aspect.
You missed it, right?
it's a great blouse, so I like to drop it.
We're live, by the way. Live stream is on. Hello, 38 people watching live stream.
Okay, let's get going. All right, hey everybody, welcome to the Toronto LinkedIn Local Meetup. Thanks so much for being here. Really excited to have you here. You guys excited to be here? All right. I'm very glad you're here. And today's topic is about building courage and resilience. I'm very excited about this because we have literally two of my favorite people in the world as friends, as well as inspiring speakers. And so, being with here then and tell the stories is great. And I think it's going to be a really amazing conversation today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things here. So first off, thanks to our hosts, myself and Jose, collaborating on this. Really appreciate that. The sponsors, 111 for this beautiful space, TC Business Solutions for media support, Lee Mitchell's Changemaker Collective for news support, and then partners with RAM and Utility Club, which are my companies, but also DYPB is the company that is the host today. Okay. Let's see here. So the first Toronto LinkedIn meetup, what the basic idea was that you take networking on LinkedIn, which is online, and now let's do it in person. That's the idea behind it. And so Swish Goswami started this global phenomenon with 3 others, and they started doing these events all around the world. So we started this one. He asked me to set up a panel to talk about LinkedIn, which is kind of fun. And the next one, he's like, "Hey, you want to help organize?" Sure. And the next thing you know, I decided to start organizing. So we did a bunch of them in various places all around the city, which has been kind of fun with different panels, different speakers. And then often we would have an open mic session where people would share their own story, which was kind of cool. And we like to take group photos of the events. And this is the last event we did before the pandemic. And before the pandemic, we had a whole team doing stuff. And then the pandemic came and everything kind of fell apart. But then we started bringing them back. This is the team I had before, which were lovely. But then we brought them back, started doing more events and more events. And we found this space, 111, which is great. We're using this event for panels and speakers and networking. And again, taking all the different group shots, right? Which is kind of exciting. So I also want to mention that if you want to take photos, take videos because you will be inspired, I encourage you to then, for sure, use the hashtag LinkedIn You can go on Instagram and other platforms and post stuff. And if you tag us, maybe us, we'll also tag respond, right? So if you do a post on LinkedIn, say, "Hey, does event. Here's what I learned. Here's what I love. And you tag me in the comments, then I'll respond to it. And then say, no, my 53.7 thousand followers on LinkedIn will say, hey, that's interesting. And they'll just know you. Is that a good thing? It's a good thing. All right. And these are all the different tags of Instagram, all the different Instagram handles you can use. So make sure you take note of that. And you know, I want to talk about DYPB. So DYPB stands for Discover Your Personal Brand. And since we started, we've done 28 LinkedIn local Toronto meetups. We've done workshops, panel events. We've also ran 6 conferences. And the reason why we did this is because I've had 4 careers. I did engineering, then I did some brand marketing. I also dabbled in teaching performing arts. And one of the things I found out in my story was that I felt lost, I felt stuck, I felt unfulfilled. And so when I dove deep in my personal brand, which took about 3 to 6 months of really deep dives, efforts, talking to people, all that kind of stuff, what happened was I found clarity, and I found purpose, and I found something I want to do the rest of my life, which brings me joy and fulfillment. And now that's what I've been doing, and it's been a really amazing journey for me. So we realized that when it comes to personal branding, people want, in individuals organization, they want 3 things. They want more focus, clarity, direction, purpose. They want more alignment with meaning and their values and their fulfillment. And then if you have focus, you have alignment, then you have more impact, which leads to legacy and story. That's what most people want. And the way it works is your personal brand journey is to discover, design, and deliver your personal brand. So I'm going to share a little model. This is the model that we use. Most of us are in the design phase. We're constantly working on our website, working on our logos, working on our materials, working on our PowerPoint, coming up with our, all the different things we're trying to plan, the plans, the strategies, the tactics, all the things we're doing. But we do that without actually doing the deep dive discovery work. And that's important. Because when you design something and you deliver it in the marketplace, what happens is it's maybe 45, 55, 65% online. So what happens? You launch a career growth strategy, and 2 years later, you're still unhappy. You launch a business development strategy, and 18 months later, you're not getting the results you want. You launch a social media digital marketing strategy, and 12 months later, it's not having the results you want. But if you do the deep dive work to discover, to explore, to commit to the process, and understand who you are, what your values are, how people experience you and feel you, you can then design something that's more 85, 95% online. And that's an important piece. A lot of people don't want to do the deep dive discovery work of personal branding. So that's why I'm a big believer in it, that's why I talk about it all the time. So the agenda for today is a little bit of a registration warm. There was networking before, there'll be networking afterwards, and I did a little bit of welcome for you guys, and then we have a keynote with Dr. Sana Zuffer. Then we're going to screen this amazing documentary movie, with an award-winning movie called Words Left Unspoken, featuring Jose. And then we'll have a panel Q&A to talk about the movie and what you thought of it, ask your questions, and talk about courage and resilience. More closing thoughts, more networking, and more photos. And always we're looking for people to join our team to help us to do these events. We do, in case you didn't know, we do these events every 2-3 months. Typically, it's, for me, and I've been a speaker for many, many years, it's my give back to the community. It's my way to create community, support people, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're students, whether they're corporate professionals trying to level up and get to where they want to go. So that's really kind of why I do this thing. And I also want to mention there's a draw here over here for a really cool prize within the slides. I think, do I have it here? I want to make sure I share it with everyone. So you could get a cyber vulnerability assessment valued at $1,500. Just drop your business card there, and you get access to it. So I want to make sure we mention that. Okay, let's go back to okay. So and then afterwards we have to leave. So we're really herding out like cats. And then of course, if you want to go out for a drink or food or whatever it might be, you totally can do that. And last thing I want to say before I introduce our speaker is that I'm excited. I'm grateful for a couple things. One is my friend Lynn drove all the way up here from way down south to come to the event, so I appreciate that. I'm also grateful for Pennsylvania. Go Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I can do that. And I'm also grateful that my partner and my 2 kids are here too, so that's kind of cool. So very excited about that. You don't have to stand up. I was just pointing it out. I'm just glad you're here. All right. So with further ado, I'm going to introduce the speaker now. Someone, I apologize. The speech you gave me, it's on my phone, and my phone's live streaming. So I feel really bad about that. Yeah, so what I'm gonna say, I apologize for that. But what I can tell you is that you can look at the registration site to see her entire bio, her story. I met Summer many years ago, and what's really amazing about it is that she's become a world-renowned speaker. She's written a best-selling book. She's done some really amazing things with her career, and then now become a doctor, which kind of blows my mind. And she's really willing to share that powerful story of the stuff that she went through, and the fact that she went through so much difficulty, challenges, trauma, and to come out the way she has. I'm just so grateful and so inspired and so impressed by what she's done. She's a good friend. She's an amazing speaker, and I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say. So please, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Summer Zafar.
Thank you, Bobby. It's always wonderful to see you, and I think this is like our first get together after COVID, so this is like coming full circle. And I was sharing earlier today that Bobby is the person when I first started to share my story and I first started to embark on the speaking journey. Bobby was and still is my inspiration, and he gave me those very first few opportunities that I needed to get on a platform and start speaking. So I'm very grateful. You're one of the people that I owe my career to, so thank you. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I know I have 10 minutes, and I want to be respectful of our agenda. So my story is one of courage, and courage is really the theme that I often speak about and talk about because that's been the theme of my journey. And when we think about courage, oftentimes we associate courage with fearlessness, and that's not true. There's no such thing as fearless. Fearlessness is a myth. When you go into wellness stores or go into Indigo, go into the wellness section, you'll see like a lot of journals and the diaries and things you can write in, and on the top it'll have like words like "be fearless," the fearless you and whatnot. And I cringe when I see those things because fear is a very natural part of our human emotion spectrum. If you're fearless, you're not human. Or you're a psychopath. So when I get a patient, so I'm not afraid of anything. I'm like, okay, what is happening here? Right? We need to investigate this. So there's no such thing. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage actually requires fear to be present. Otherwise, it wouldn't be courageous, right? So courage is, yes, I'm terrified. Yes, I'm afraid. Yes, I doubt myself right now. Yes, I'm feeling all kinds of imposter syndrome. Yes, I am scared of taking this step, but I'm going to do it anyway because I believe in something. I believe in my dream, I believe in my vision, I believe in something bigger than me. I believe in a better world, I believe in a better future for myself and others. And that has been the theme of my story. I was born in Pakistan, and I grew up in India. I went to a private British school, and oftentimes, when we would go back to Pakistan in the summers and in the spring break, I would see kids my age begging on the street and involved in child labor. A young girl who was my age would come with her mother to clean in my house. And I would ask my parents and my cousins and my family and my aunts and uncles, like, why are these children not in school? And the answer I was given is that, oh, that's their destiny, and this is yours. That's just the way it is. And even at that young age, when I didn't really have the words to put around my thoughts, I would ask them and myself that just because this is the way it's always been, does not make it okay. Just because you're born a certain way or in a certain place or in a certain family doesn't make you less equal than others. Doesn't make you better than others. And if things are wrong, it's in our power to change those things. Right? So courage the first step of courage is a vision. And vision is different than knowledge. Knowledge relies on what we see in front of us. Knowledge relies on what is reality. Vision is about imagination. Vision is believing in things that we don't see yet. And believing in it so fiercely that it becomes part of our psyche, it becomes part of our subconscious, and then we start looking for opportunities to make it happen. So when I was very young, I was 16 years old, and I was forced into marriage to a man that I had never met before. He was 11 years older than me. And a few months after my 17th birthday, I arrived in this big, beautiful, cold country as his wife. And when I came here, I was not allowed to go to school. I was not allowed to have a voice. I couldn't have any kind of freedom. I was told, give up on your education dreams. It's never going to happen. Because you're a girl, your job is now to be a good wife, a good mother, a good daughter-in-law. So I was living in this big house in Mississauga, Streetsville. I don't know if there's any people from Mississauga here. And basically a prisoner in my own home. But even in those early days, in those early years, when there was no hope of ever being able to go to school, I would still stand in front of a mirror with a piece of paper rolled up in my hand, like a looking at a degree, and I would practice my graduation speech. Even in those very early years. Because I thought to myself, if I don't believe in my dream, then who will? If I give up on what I want, then who's going to fight for it? No one else will respect my dreams if I don't. And after that, it was all about taking small steps. So just because you have this clear vision, it doesn't mean that your path will make you. That path will test you. It will break you. It will make you fall. It will make you fail. There will be lots and lots of naysayers along the way. There will be moments where you will doubt every decision you've ever made. You will question yourself. And those are the moments when you have to go deep in and ask yourself, why am I doing this in the first place? Now, those are the moments when you have to work with your fear, not against it. Work with it, soothe it. Yes, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm terrified, but I also believe in this so much, I'm going to take that one courageous step. And courageous steps are tiny steps. No one goes and builds a mountain in a day. No one goes and runs a marathon the first time. It's all about those tiny little steps. For me, those tiny steps look like ordering my very first course through the Independent Learning Center to finish my high school. Then starting a babysitting service in my home and saving $50 every month, secretly, to save for my first year tuition fee as a part-time student. Giving myself pep talks in front of the mirror when I doubted myself. Selling butter chicken on campus after I left my marriage, and I lived in poverty for a few years, and I was living on campus housing with my 2 daughters as a single mom, struggling, going to school full time. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to make money. All right, well, I'm a good cook. I'm going to sell butter chicken and biryani to students because campus food sucks. Right? And it was about doing whatever I could, small things, to move just a tiny step forward, just a tiny inch forward. And those are the courageous steps that lead to very bold, big results years later. Even when, again, you can't see it, but you believe in it, and that's why you keep going. And 15 years after I got married, 15 years after that day, just after my 17th birthday, so I was 32, almost 32 when I graduated. And I got on stage as the top student at the University of Toronto and delivered that exact same speech that I would practice in front of the mirror. And that is the power of believing in yourself. That is what courage looks like. I never knew that it would happen, but I believed in it, and I took tiny steps towards it, whatever I could in those little moments when everything seemed dark. And the third most important thing I would say to tie it all around is the power of your community. When I started my journey, the biggest game changer was not how smart or how hardworking I was. It was about the people who believed in me, the friends who watched my children when I went to class or court, the professors who said kind words to me right when I needed them, my mentors who helped me make critical decisions in life. Those people, with their little acts of kindness at those moments when I needed that support, are the people, those are the reasons why I did not go back and I kept moving forward. So lean into your community. Build your village and also be part of other people's villages. Because resilience is not an individual thing. Resilience is collective. We need each other as human beings. We are so hardwired for connection on a biological level. We're so hardwired for connection. We can never do it alone. We're never meant to do it alone. So we need each other. In fact, when we, like this neuroscience, proves it, that when we feel excluded, when we feel, like rejected, it actually activates the same neural pathways in our brain that physical pain does. And when we feel included and seen and that we belong, it actually activates the reward network in our brain. It motivates us to take action. It helps us feel good about ourselves. So do that for each other. Do that for yourself and also do that for each other. Because that is where our biggest power lies. And it's because of those people and their acts of kindness that the girl who was never supposed to go to school, who was never supposed to have a voice, who was subjected to a life of abuse forever, is standing in front of you here today. So when we champion ourselves and we champion others, those little actions on our part can have a life-changing impact on other people. And if enough of us do that, we can change the world. Thank you.
Beautiful and inspiring. Thank you so much. And of course, make sure you talk to Samra after we have a panel. You can ask questions. Make sure you talk to her, and also follow her, support her on all the different platforms and channels. We do appreciate that. All right, I'm not going to introduce our next speaker, but actually he's going to introduce the film. The reason why we're here is because we're here. We decided for our 28th Toronto LinkedIn Local Meetup to do something different, which is to have a film screen support documentary around a powerful story. And that's something that I've never done, we've never done. I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, man, I like that big promoter, like one of those Hollywood people. Not really. But it was still kind of exciting to do that. So I'm very excited about that. But I want to talk a bit about Jose. So I met Jose almost on the same time I met Samra. But Jose and I met because I was a speaker and I was helping other speakers. That's kind of what I did for many, many years. And then he showed up and super inquisitive guy. And then he told me about his challenge with the stutter, and we strategized about how to leverage it. And the fact that he was doing like comedy. And I remember he had so much confidence even back then. Like, I remember there was a LinkedIn Local years ago, the one I was talking to you about. He was outside and he would just go up to these people, start chatting his leads up. Hey, how are you? And I'd be like standing like, wow. And what's amazing, like that slow and steady pace, it works, man. I was like, man, I couldn't even do what he was doing. He's so confident. I love that. And now, like just like Samra, he's just thrived. Stand up, a 5-time TEDx speaker, Samra's a 4-time TEDx speaker. These people are so amazing, and he's traveled all the world as an amazing speaker. So he's going to introduce the film, and so please give a warm round of applause for Jose Pradhan.
Years ago, I met a filmmaker who was intrigued by the fact that I had a stutter, and I had just started to perform stand-up comedy. She asked me if she could make a short film about my journey. I told her, look, I have a stutter. I don't think the film is going to be short. 8 years later, the film had its premiere at a film festival in Toronto last October. It had its US premiere at a film festival in New York last March, so just about 2 months ago. And it was nominated by the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television for 3 screening awards. I look forward to tonight's screening. I know many of you here through very different ways, so it's awesome to have my worlds colliding this evening. So I'd rather keep this part short. We'll watch the film, and then we'll have an amazing panel about courage, about resilience, with Samra, Bobby, and myself. I will see you all again after the film. It's a vulnerable film. I look forward to hearing your thoughts afterwards, and I'll just do a pre-screening thank you to Bobby for holding this event this evening.
Our next speaker, Jose Caribbean.
To speak or not to speak. Growing up with a severe stutter, I gravitated towards not speaking. I hated myself. I hated that I was unable to say the words to express my thoughts, feelings, and emotions.